Wisconsin's Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and right now we're getting ready to have a six-pack challenge match with Potsy and Tino on the big podcast show. Holla at a player.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world. That's right. The Potsy and Tino Show. Our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. This guy is Tino. You can follow him on Instagram, SCTino. You can follow him on Twitter at HootieFan91.
That's right.
And if he ever decides to put anything on the Potsy and Tino TikTok, you can follow him on Potsy and Tino.
TikTok.
Yeah, sure. I'm Rob Potchak. You can follow me on Twitter at Potchak. You can follow me on all the other socials at Rob Potchak or Rob Potsy Potchak for Twitch and TikTok. Anyways, so Tino, we always start the show by saying, hey, if you're in the audience, don't be shy. Say hi. Go ahead and say what's up with you.
Buy our shit.
Buy our shit is what Tino always likes to say. But we always start the show with a little segment called What's Up With You? And it's not always what's up with you anymore. A lot of times it's what's up with like your, 10-year-old kid? 12-year-old kid. 12?
Yes, sir. It'll be 13 in August.
Jumping Jehoshaphat.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
What's up with Matthew?
He is concussed. Concussed.
Conquistador?
He has a concussion. So, hey, everybody, welcome to this show.
What's up, Michael? What's up, Joe?
So I'm a youth group leader with my church, and so obviously Matthew is he goes there too. So we were playing a game last night. It's kind of like name that song. So the way it was set up, they had boys on one side, I'm trying to make sure I see the camera, girls on the other side, and then they had on the stage they had like a somebody was on like a string. So we played the song. If you knew the song, the first person to run up and grab the string would be the one to be able to answer. So, they're kids, they're teenage kids, and anywhere from 6 to high school, and they're just rushing. Well, my son went to go, and he got pushed as they were running to get up to the stage. He fell and hit his head, and underneath the stage where we are, there's like a speaker. So he smacked his head on the floor, and I think he said he hit the speaker too. But he got it, and it took him a minute to get up. It's not funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It took him a minute to get up, and I'm like, dude. And I was running the sound, so I knew he was hurt. So I told him to come sit by me. I'm like, dude.
He knocked out the speaker.
Yeah, I'm like, he didn't hit it that hard. But he was like, his head hurt. I'm like, dude, do you see in double? No, are you not nauseous? No. I said, all right, just chill with me. And then we split up in the small groups, and I thought it was all right. And then we were leaving. He goes, my head hurts. So I took him to my father-in-law's, who's a nurse anesthetist, and he's one we go to with all our medical stuff if we need to. And he said, just keep an eye on him. So I got him home. I didn't make him go to bed right away. I just let him stay up a little bit. And then I was up all night going in back and forth, checking up on him, making sure he's okay.
That's better.
He got up to go to school. His head was still hurting. I dropped him off. I'm like, look, dude, if you don't feel good, call me. Dad will come get you. He said, okay. So I'm working, and I get a phone call from Apex. And I'm like, well, shit. So I answered the phone. So my son, he hit the left side of his head Sunday night. So after lunch, he's walking and talking, not paying attention. He's looking back, talking to his friend, and he walks into a pole on the right side of his head. Had a headache, called me. I'm like, all right, son. So I went and picked him up, brought him home, and just chill. And I called the pediatrician, got the nurse line. I'm like, hey, this happened. What do I need to do? Blah 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 blah. While I was waiting for them to call back, he came in and goes, Dad, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I'm like, well, shit. So I called the pediatrician. But this is happening now. I made an appointment. He has a mild concussion. Thank God. He didn't. They did the little test on him. He didn't have it, so they didn't have to do a CT because they didn't believe he had a brain bleed. So it was just a mild concussion. Kept him home from school today. I got to do a follow-up visit Monday, but in the meantime, so he was out today. Today's Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The rest of the week, he's only going to school half days. So by the time I get him to school, it's time to pick him up again. He can't do. They don't want him on electronics like Chromebooks, laptops, anything like that. So whatever they have to print out for him. And he's also excused from PE because they don't want that activity and that jarring and all that stuff. So pretty much the rest of the week, he's just got half days. Yeah. Yeah.
So what else happened with you guys?
Yeah. The other thing I can't say anything about because.
Oh yeah. No. But like, did you play anywhere this weekend?
No. Last weekend was my nephew Brant's. It was his birthday, so it was cool. So I had 2 birthday parties I ended up going to. This is a whole other story. So my manager I got my old manager that before I got promoted. When I was at the front desk, her and then my other coworker, we all have kids or sons around the same age, so we would hang out. Well, my manager Jen, her son's birthday was Friday, but they were doing his party Saturday. So she'd asked me earlier last week, "You want to come?" We're like, "Yeah." I went home talking to Nicole. She says, "Yeah, okay, we'll go." No sooner than I hit send on that text, then Paul goes, "Hey, we're having Brant's 10th birthday Saturday, 3 to 5. I'm like, son of a bitch. So Jen's son's birthday was at 6 in Clayton.
So you're gonna be late.
No, because what I did, so this birthday was 3 to 5.
Right.
So yeah, it's like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
We left at a little after 5. Went his birthday, hung out, then went with the other one. So all day running. Saturday, Sunday got up, went to church. Then I had youth group Sunday night. So yeah, I was running. Then we had the excitement with Matthew. And then this Saturday, I will be in Fuquay. Yeah, I couldn't remember where I was playing. This Saturday, I'll be in Fuquay at the Mason Jar Brewery. From 5 to 8.
So in other words,
5 to 8.
If you want to see Tino play,
yes, come on up 5 to 8. I had to make sure that was the right time.
5 to 8.
All right. And that's
all that happened to you?
Yeah, they're not getting anything. That's it. I mean, that's enough.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah,
my son's concussed.
Yeah, concussed.
Concussed.
So, for me, I had a pretty chill weekend. I didn't do too much. I've gone back to starting to try to alphabetize all my comic books.
I did see I forgot to text you back the drawings that you texted me for those. So I like that. They were good.
So that right there. I had the meeting last Tuesday with the movie director, and I did 4 samples and sent them over to her. She really liked them. So the project looks like it's a go. So it looks like I'm going to be drawing a 4-issue miniseries of what the movie was. And that's pretty daunting in and of itself because literally I've drawn a total of 1.5 comic books in my professional career.
So this is a miniseries. So how many comic books is that?
Probably 4.
4.
Yeah, probably 4 20 to 22 page books each.
Now, when you say draw, are you just drawing the picture? Are you also putting in the dialogue and all that stuff, or are you just drawing?
So it's probably going to be easiest if I also do the lettering and everything else. So it's crazy, man, because so normally a comic book has a writer, a penciler, an inker, a colorist, a letterer, an editor. 6 jobs go into one comic, and at this point, I do the writing, the lettering, the editing on junior high horrors already. So at this point, with the way that I'm doing the artwork, a lot of people may actually call it cheating or whatever. It's very similar to an animation process called rotoscoping, which basically means that you actually have actors do the scenes and everything else, and then you animate over that.
Okay.
So there was a movie way back called A Scanner Darkly that had Keanu Reeves in it, where it was all an animated film, but yet it was done to look like realistic, like animation, and that used rotoscoping. So rotoscoping is used all the time now. Video games use it. I mean, like you've got actors actually acting out the scenes, and then it's just being overlaid over top of their movements and everything. So it's kind of like that, but the whole process will be basically me probably taking about 300 to 350 pictures from the film and then putting them in to frame them properly as the actual panels of the comic, then drawing all of that. And then,
so you are literally making this film into a comic.
Yes.
So it's not a comic based on the film.
No, but see, I'm also it's still drawing the comic though.
Yeah.
Because like while I'm taking those scenes and putting them in there, I still have to like change the contrast, change the color, change the, so brightness, contrast, all that stuff I've got to fix so that way it works for like comic book drawing. Then I've still got to draw the comic, and then, and the pictures that I've shown everybody, I know Joe's seen them. Anybody who's taken a look at my Instagram, like I put them up as art without context because, it's literally just scenes from whatever. And I'm not talking about like the actual film project or anything yet. So like when I post some of this artwork, it's just to post it so that people can see what it looks like. But then I'm doing it as what they call duotone. So it's black, white, and one other color.
Yeah.
So like the death scenes, I'm going to put in red because, it just enhances that like, oh yeah, this is where something bad happens, but the rest of it so far I've done in like black, white, and blue, and the blue seems to look really cool when I do it. So I've been pretty impressed with how that's coming out. But the way that I was going to grab the screen caps and everything to be able to do all that doesn't work as easily as I thought it was going to. Because I got the film on Voodoo, and Voodoo doesn't let you take screen captures. So now I've got to figure out another way to get the film either processed off of Voodoo, which I own it now. So, I mean, it's mine. It's not like I can't legally do that at this point. But then taking it and cropping each image the way that I need to and everything from that, which may take a little bit longer to figure out exactly how to get it right because I don't want the artwork to look fuzzy or hazy.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be crisp, clear images. So it's going to be interesting. I'm now halfway done the next junior high horror script, which if it is the last book, we've talked about. Yeah, Joe says that the artwork's awesome, so I really appreciate that. If it really is the last junior high horrors book, at least from Keen Spot or whatever, I don't know if I ever told you, Tino, but like there are, as a writer, I don't know. I actually see. I'll talk about that in a second. Okay. But I don't know if I ever talked to you about like when you're a writer and you set specific rules into your books, you can't break your rules.
Right.
Okay. And I probably like I'm watching Dexter. I'm rewatching Dexter again, right? And in fact, the season that I'm getting ready to finish right now. So you walked in and that season was on. Is the season that made me hate the show.
Is that the last season?
No. So the last episode really sucked until they brought it back and did Dexter New Blood, which I actually really enjoyed the entire 10 episode series. But the number one rule of the series was that you saw everything from inside the mind of Dexter.
Right.
Okay, so you knew that there was stuff happening with other characters because as a TV show, you kind of got to have like, okay, there's going to be a camera following his sister. There's going to be a camera following the other detectives. I get all that. But you never once saw any of those other characters talk to themselves and have somebody that was talking to them from in their own mind. Okay, so Dexter's character, he has his dark passenger, which is why he kills, but then he has his dead adopted father that talks to him all the time. Okay. And the actor is a great actor. His name is James Remar. And he's real. I mean, like, what it really is Dexter arguing with himself, but when he argues with himself, he sees his dad.
Got it.
Right? And that's the whole series is set up that way. Dexter New Blood, I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but James Remar was not asked back. So they didn't bring him back. They had another character that talked to him throughout.
Okay.
And the whole reason why was because the first character kind of died off when Dexter died off, right?
Okay.
Because Dexter didn't really die, obviously, but when Dexter Morgan died,
Yeah.
that
Makes sense.
character went with it. So like I said, number one rule is you can hear inside Dexter's head. You can see those conversations he has. You can see all the anger and animosity that comes up and the struggle that he has with whether or not he should be a killer, whether or not he should do this, with, like, is he doing it for the right reasons? Is he going to get caught? All that stuff. He always has those conversations with his dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 6th season, they introduced Colin Hanks and Edward James Olmos as a teacher-student killing team.
Okay.
And the show's been out for years, so I'm not, like, if you haven't seen it, sorry guys, I'm gonna go ahead and break it. The rule is basically set. Dexter's the only one that you ever see talk to like his inner monologue,
right?
Kind of like Scrubs.
Okay.
JD's the only one that does it. Every so often they do an episode where he bumped into somebody, and as he bumped into them, you then heard in the other character for one episode. And it was kind of a cool little break from the rules or whatever. So in this season with Edward James Olmos and Colin Hanks, the M. Night Shyamalan twist to it is that Colin Hanks' character killed off Edward James Olmos 3 years ago. So the whole time that you're seeing this character,
he's in Colin Hanks' head.
He's in Colin Hanks' head, and that is impossible for you as the watcher to see that because it's not a rule that's in the series.
Yeah.
Right? You never see it with anybody else, so it's the trick to it. Oh, wow, he was dead all along. You broke your own rule.
Like Sixth Sense.
Yeah, exactly like the Sixth Sense, except you broke the rule.
Okay.
So if you then watch that season over again, you start looking at the Edward James Olmos character going, kind of like Fight Club, where you're wondering whether or not all those little snippets where Tyler Durden just randomly shows up actually, are meant to be in the film, and you're like, oh, based on the film, yes, that's supposed to happen.
Okay.
That's a rule that you're okay with because that rule is actually established in Fight Club. In Dexter, it's never established that you'd ever be able to hear from inside someone else's head. So when you do, even though it may seem like a really cool moment for those that watch the show and go, well, that's a cool turn of events.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Because it couldn't happen.
Okay. So what's it got to do with your junior high horrors?
So when junior high horror started, there are rules that I put in place. Who's the only person that can see Frederick as the big cat?
Was it Nancy?
Nancy, right? There's only one issue where all the kids can see Frederick. Do you remember it? He doesn't actually read the comics.
I do read the comics. I don't remember which one it was.
All right. So in issue number 4, no, it was the one after Walking Flu.
Okay.
In issue number 4, all the kids go over to Nancy's house for a sleepover, drink way too much caffeine, stay up way too late, and hallucinate him. Now, even in the hallucinations, like, you see Frederick wrap his big arms around one of the kids, and it looks like a scary sequence, right? But then it turns out that kid just fell asleep, and he's wearing a Frederick blanket. So I didn't break any of the rules. No one actually sees Frederick.
Right.
They just all suddenly have those weird, because I was trying to portray a Friday or a Nightmare on Elm Street story with it. Chris Barrett just said Ernie Ladd for some reason. The cat, I guess.
You said big cat.
I did say the big cat. So I've never broken the rules. Okay, which has made it very difficult for some people because they're always like, why doesn't JB and Frederick interact and blah blah blah? And it's because they can't. Right now, if I were to do a Freddy versus Jason issue of the book, then I could figure out a way, like, JV gets a concussion and suddenly, like, he starts seeing Frederick. I could do something like that, which would be a roundabout way of getting around the rule but not break the rule, right?
Okay.
So and like I said, as a writer, if you establish rules, you got to stick to them.
Okay.
So you might not want to. You might go, shit, 8 issues into this book and I want to do this now and I can't fucking do it, right? So with this possibly being the last issue of Junior High Horrors,
You're gonna break a rule.
I'm not breaking rules, but I found ways around the rules. So like I've already joked with Eric that I want it to be like a Power Rangers comic. And it's like, how do we do that? And how do we do that in a way that makes it okay within the rules? And I figured it out. So anybody who is a Junior High Horrors fan, you should get a kick out of it. It's Strangest Thingies Forever is what the name of it's going to be. But I'm finally letting Eric kind of cut loose with the artwork and do some things that we haven't been able to do with the series before. And I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm halfway through writing it. So I haven't written any of that part yet. I wrote how they get to that moment, and now it's going to be like Voltron going forward, which I'm pretty excited about because I like Voltron. So and it's a big cat.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
So we're gonna have fun with a Power Rangers slash other thing there. And then today, out of the blue, 2 years into telling me that he's going to draw Immortal for me, still hasn't given me any pages. My buddy Rob Nikolakakis has sent me something today saying, yeah, while I was at work today, I couldn't get Elisa out of my head. So here, and he drew a sketch of her swinging the sword. And I'm like, fuck yeah, when's this book coming?
Nice.
Because like all this guy has to do is go with a sketch. And I'm sitting there like I'm ready to write 6 more issues of this, you know?
All right.
Now, obviously, my entire speed is going to be turned down a notch because if I'm drawing a book on top of writing 2 or 3 other books, you know, it could slow things down. But what I'm really excited about with the horror project, and I know obviously we want to get into the comic books or the wrestling stuff, and I don't even know if I even really want to talk about like what happened in the world of wrestling versus some of the stuff going on around the world of wrestling, but we'll obviously get into a bunch of the stuff. Like I do want to talk about Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker and things like that. What if you introduce a power to the big cat that allows him to appear to whoever he wants to? That's breaking the rule, Chris. So there is no breaking of the rules. At least as long as it's my project, my property, and me writing it, I won't break the rules. I don't like it. I think that it's unfair to the readers. If all of a sudden you get comfortable reading it a certain way and then all of a sudden get told, nope, we changed it. And it's like, sorry, can't do that. So I'm not going to, but I think everybody that likes Junior High Horrors will actually enjoy that. With the horror idea though, working with a horror director allows me the opportunity to start sitting there and sneaking ideas in. And, you know, maybe getting myself work on a actual film project.
That'd be cool.
Maybe one of my ideas. But, you know, we're very early in the process with that. But I'm super excited about being able to go to horror conventions and actually sell a book that I worked on top of Junior High Horrors. So, you know, good luck with all that, I guess. Quick update. We'll let everybody know I will be at Fayetteville Comic-Con.
Yeah.
April 23rd and 24th. If you're off, you may want to come out because I was just informed that Carlito will be there.
23rd and 24th
of April. So next month. It's a Saturday, Sunday. Yep.
I might be able to make the Sunday one.
Well, I'm almost wondering whether or not we can talk Keith, the showrunner, into letting us interview some of these folks and actually using them on future episodes of the Potsy and Tino show.
That'll work.
So, or do a live version of the Potsy and Tino show and ask these folks to come on and actually give a little information about what's going on with them, because Carlito will be there, Swoggle will be there, and then Brooke Adams will be there.
Wow.
Miss Tessmacher.
Her forever.
Miss Tessmacher will be there, so I'm pretty excited about that one. You know, last time I got to meet Victoria, so Lisa Marie Veron, and SoCal Val. That was a big one for me because I always liked SoCal Val, and Melina. Got to meet all 3 of them the last time, so that was really cool. So April 23rd, 24th for that. Working on getting into Carolina Fear Fest. I was talking to Stephanie, the showrunner for that show, just a little while today. So we're possibly going to be doing panels, the booth, working alongside SideQuest, my buddy Billy's bar.
Okay.
He'll probably be, anybody that's a VIP at that show will probably get a free membership to his bar. So pretty cool stuff there. And then I am probably finalizing my plans for San Diego Comic-Con. And then the only other con that right now I've got planned between now and then for San Diego is Heroes Con in Charlotte. So one basically every month, April, May, June, July, one con each month.
Nice.
And then the other thing about this horror project is that she's already talking about, let's try to get you tables at the table next to mine at the horror shows when we actually have the product, so that we can sit there and actually like get you to sign them, get me to sign them, get it. So some cool stuff going there. So Michael saw Billy at the video game convention. Yeah. So playthrough gaming convention was this weekend. Pretty cool stuff there. Actually, that brings up a pretty funny quick story. Cliff Blazinski from creator Gears of War used to work at Epic Games. Now he's lounging, I guess. He sings karaoke with me on Monday nights. He was out at playthrough, and some guy dressed up as Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War came up, got his picture with him, right? So I see this picture on Facebook because the guy who was dressed up as Marcus Phoenix is a friend of mine on Facebook. So he sits there and he says really nice things about Cliff. Hey, check this guy. I met the creator of Gears of War. He's super cool. Then Cliff posts the same picture on Twitter and says, hey, check out what I saw at the show. And I sat there and wrote a reply to it because Cliff and I follow each other. We're friends, so we do that on Twitter. And so I wrote a reply that said, yeah, he had really nice things to say about you too on Facebook. And he goes, and then Cliff goes, but I thought I was an asshole on the internet. Which, by the way, folks, Joe, you follow my Twitter pretty strongly. I don't know if you saw me today when I posted the thing about Call of Duty always being the same game and then forcing you to pay extra for the same maps game over game over game. But my Twitter has gone ballistic because of it, because it was a reply to something that Cliff said. So Cliff, with his 600,000 followers, me posting something that he looked at and replied to, all of a sudden just went ballistic, with people sitting there going, well, sports games have always been exactly the same except for different rosters, which, by the way, there's a reason behind. For the video game people out there who don't understand the way that marketing contracts go, the NFLPA, for example, with Madden, has to be paid for their usage. So that's why the game continues to be $60 or $70 every month rather than a $20 add-on for new rosters. Because if it was just $20 for a new roster, nobody would make any money off of it.
Yes.
So, and obviously it's all a money-making game. So it's all about that. But with Call of Duty, I don't care how good Nuketown was the very first time it was in a video game, folks. You shouldn't have to pay $50 to get Nuketown remastered for the 8th time.
I like Nuketown.
At this point, they should just fucking give you Nuketown. Like, they literally charge you for, now they might not do the season passes the same way that they did, but they charge you for the map and then say, we're bringing back one of your favorite maps, which means we didn't actually work on it again. We're just giving it to you again. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to give you Zombies Nuketown. Hey, you know what? You did that 4 games ago, guys. Like, did you even clean the zombies up so they look like PS5? Probably not. So, Tino, before we actually jump into pro wrestling, I do want to talk pro wrestling, but a little side quest on it, if you will.
Oh, I'm about this game tomorrow.
So Tino, as you can see, we are live in person tonight, which is great. I did not set us up on TikTok like I normally do for this, but he came over early because he wanted to try WWE 2K22. So I let him play. Before I let him play, I showed him so that he could kind of get an idea for the controls. Did a backstage brawl. played as Tommaso Ciampa versus
him off that.
So folks, there is a 2-tier ladder thing that you can climb all the way up, and I was Tommaso Ciampa versus Titus O'Neil for some reason, and Titus O'Neil knocked me into the railing, which knocked the railing off the side. So there was a big empty spot, and he went to throw me off of it. I did not play as Bob Backlund, and he went to throw me off of it, and I reversed it and threw Titus O'Neil off. And it had to have been a 20-foot drop.
It said stunned.
And it just said he was stunned. And he's just laying there on the ground. So Tino's like, what are you going to do now? And I just splashed 20 feet in the air, landed right on top of him, knocked him out, and won the match.
So my favorite was when you did the frog splash off the boxes and missed.
Yeah.
But then at the last game, I was Keith Lee, and Akira Tozawa, and I beat him. But then at the end, you can do like further damage after the match is over. I did that backwards moonsault.
Yeah. So Keith Lee climbs the top rope. Now Tozawa is outside the ring. He climbs up to the top rope, and he sees him lean to look like he's just going to jump into the ring.
Yeah.
And Tino even goes, what the fuck is he doing? And then he proceeds to moonsault off Keith Lee, folks. Moonsault off the top rope outside the ring on top of Akira. And I was like, he's dead.
I'm getting this game.
And then Tino's like, I'm buying this tomorrow.
Oh my God.
So for those out there that actually want to play a good WWE 2K game, the controls are still a little bit wonky.
But they're closer, and we were saying they're closer to the ones I like, which was Raw versus SmackDown all those years ago.
Yes. Different wrestlers have a lot of different moves that they can do. We played as Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens sits there, and I mean, like, every time, like, if you hit the same 2 buttons, he does different moves.
Yeah. It's
pretty impressive. The only thing I don't like about it, and I was telling you, is the reversal system.
Oh, yeah.
It's still broken. But
it's better than it was.
I think the reason, so reading the review from like IGN, which by the way, they gave it an 8 out of 10. So they gave it an 80%, which, you know, is easily the best score they've given a WWE game since 2K took it over. The reversal system, the way that they wrote about it, they basically said that the reversal system basically just became like, if you were up against a skilled player, it was whoever hit the button faster each time. And they kind of now made it to where, like, you're only given specific times that you can actually do the reversal. Joe said that he's still busy with Elden Ring. You know, I've been asked about 30 times by different people, did you pick up Elden Ring? And I have not and will not. And it's not because I don't like the studio that makes it, or I don't like the way it looks or anything like that, but I hate Dark Souls games because they're too fucking hard. So and you know, that's actually the thing that sparked the whole thing between Cliff Bleszinski and everybody else was he posted, you know, like, fans, and it was a picture of people like boo, and it was like Call of Duty. It's like, it's always the same. And then it said like Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Demon Souls remastered, Elden Ring, and it was like, yeah. So of course I was like, yeah, I can't be part of this conversation. So yeah. Chris Barrett said Keith Lee pulled a Brock Lesnar with a botched shooting star. No, it was not a botched shooting star press. He hit that damn thing and he squashed Akira Tozawa. Tozawa was the one. Like, he was just a smear on the mat.
No, it's funny when you did the thing off the scaffolding on the Titus. Even Kevin was like, oh,
yeah, he was like, but he got right up.
Yeah,
he was like, oh, my belly, oh.
It was cool. It sold it. That match that you did with Ciampa and
Gargano,
that was a good match.
Yeah, so I did one where I was Johnny Gargano, and Tino actually grabbed the controller after I finished it, and he turned Johnny Gargano heel in the match by like just walking up, looking at him, and then throwing him into Gargano escape, and the whole match happened at the Thunderdome, and when it got done, everybody was just like this. It was hilarious. It was freaking hilarious.
Because
So
I was like, because it said X, it said breakout. I'm like, well, what does this do?
yeah, what does this do? And it was like, okay, well now it's just gonna, instead of having him walk up the ramp and leave, this is gonna open it up so you can actually do something at the match again, which is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty neat little way of doing things. So all right, folks, we're gonna jump into some pro wrestling.
Let's do it.
So obviously keep the comments coming. We'll try to read them as often as possible. Maybe put some up on the screen. AEW Dynamite last week. This was the first Dynamite after, what was it, or was it the second Dynamite after the pay-per-view? It was the second Dynamite after the pay-per-view.
Yeah, because last week was Jericho made some faction, and then they became
right
this week.
Right, which, I'm glad you brought that up, because let's go ahead and start there. The Jericho Appreciation Society. Now,
Jazz. Say yes. That's what they had in the background. They had to say yes.
They did. They did. And I mean, he's already got shirts and everything for it. What did you think? And folks, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this too. Chris Jericho on a pro wrestling product saying that he is no longer a pro wrestler, but he is officially
a sports entertainer.
A sports entertainer. So a phrase coined by the competition.
I think that was smart.
And Daniel Garcia looked at him and said, "What are you saying, Chris? What are you saying? You're saying you're a sports entertainer? Well, then so am I." And I was like, okay.
And now 2.0 we're going by the real names too, which
yeah, one of them's Wickety Whack, and the other one is other one's Fat Matt Jackson. Dude, did you see the picture where his eyes are just like this?
Yes.
Like, that dude is creepy.
And
and Jake Hager.
Yeah.
Who looks like a badass again.
Yes. I don't think you can't make him not look like a badass.
You can when he's got a mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with this list, we the people.
Hey, you know what? He is a legit badass in real life.
I'm not messing with him.
I mean, he's 6'5". He's a legit badass. He's undefeated in MMA.
I'm not messing with him.
Yeah, and he's got a lisp. Yeah, try to tell him that.
No.
Exactly.
Him and Cody, they got a tag team.
Chris Barrett's asking, is JAS hiring for what? Roadie?
So it was a pretty good segment.
You think Brandon Cutler will leave to become the roadie? You think they'll hire a Ralphus?
Dude, if they hire fucking
Ralphus. Oh my God, Ralphus, that would be great. Did you ever you heard the story about Ralphus?
Yeah.
Like where all of a sudden he's like, "Are we going to New York?" And he's like, "How the fuck do you know what New York is?" You didn't even know the business last week. Now you're asking for a contract and you want to go to New York?
That is hysterical. Jericho's hysterical, isn't it?
Dude, so this reinvention of Chris Jericho, he says he's reinventing himself as the only remaining genius in pro wrestling. I'm going to say he's not the only remaining genius in pro wrestling. I did like how he said that his former best friend was the one that told him to get 2.0 into AEW when he's talking about Kevin Owens sitting there, my former best friend up north. So obviously he was talking about Kevin Owens there. Thought that was a really cool, nice little, especially with where Owens is right now, opening the show, closing the show, and last week I sat there and flat out told you, and we'll talk more about Owens in a bit, but last week I said Kevin Owens doesn't need the title. Now we're seeing that Kevin Owens is bigger than any title that's on Raw because Brock Lesnar's not on there. Yeah. So, although he will be next week, him and Roman will
supposedly.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So,
isn't that the go home?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, SmackDown technically is the go home show, but it's SmackDown. It's the Hall of Fame. It's NXT Stand and Deliver, and then it's WrestleMania because Stand and Deliver is Saturday at noon.
What the hell?
I don't know. But anyways, so with this Jericho appreciation thing, one, did Jericho get hair plugs? Because he has more hair on his head now than he did 6 years ago.
I don't know, but I was looking at Jericho, and I was reading somewhere that he really did get into the best shape of his life. So remember we were joking about
That he was wearing the ab thing.
No, so
no. Him and Hager are in better shape now than they were when AEW started, without a doubt. And Jericho. I mean, Jericho even said that when he went to New Japan that he put on weight because white wrestlers need to be more heavy set guys over there. That's not always true. Obviously, a guy like Finn Balor is so cut that like it looks like if you just push him in the wrong spot, one of those muscles is just going to deflate. I mean, he is
Ciampa.
Yeah. Ciampa's a beast, man. So with this Jericho Appreciation Society, like Terrence T was sitting there asking me, he's like, 2.0, man, really? And I'm like, it's gonna get them over.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're now going to go by their real names, and Jericho once again sat there and said, we don't want to hear that 2.0 name. That name's garbage.
Yeah.
Like when Jake Hager came in and the crowd started going, we the people, he was like, stop that. That ends now. We're not doing that anymore. That was stupid. And since then, Jake Hager's just been the silent assassin of the team, and even here, he was definitely the silent assassin because, I mean, like, he just came in and hit Santana with a baseball bat. So, Chris Barrett says, well, Vince McMahon's still alive, so there are at least 2 remaining geniuses in pro wrestling. I can't dispute that even now. Like I don't like all the booking decisions, but I do have to agree with when you're bringing in $2 billion a year from your TV contracts and your Saudi Arabian blood deals. I mean, you're obviously doing something right, and it doesn't even matter who the product is based on at this point. You're still making all that money, it's kind of like the GameStop stock price.
Yeah.
Like last year, it didn't matter how the business was doing. The business was completely in the toilet, and yet the stock price was 300. Because some people decided, hey, we're going to invest in that. Today GameStop stock went up 30%. Now it had gone all the way down to like $77, so right now it's at like $120. But anybody who had bought it today would have made $30 a share. So like. It was a nice little bump for people that had it today. So there's that. I'm excited to see where this faction for Jericho goes. I think that it's really good for 2.0, whatever they're going to call themselves as a tag team now.
Yeah.
I think it's good for Hager as long as they want to actually use Hager.
I think they will.
I think that this also gets Jericho. It's like everybody. Like last week, everybody was talking about who goes up to face Hangman next, because it obviously looks like they're pushing Adam Cole to face him again, but which almost means that they're doing like WWE booking by having the same guys go at least 2 matches against the champion now. When I actually like the idea of Jericho versus Hangman now, and it would come full circle because Hangman versus Jericho was the very first ever world title match in AEW.
Right.
Jericho won that one. Hangman wasn't ready at that point. Now you build up Jericho during this little feud and everything with Eddie Kingston and everything else. Then you immediately have Jericho go after the world championship and lose to Hangman. You get your 50-50 booking, but it took 3 years to do it.
Yeah.
And I'd be completely fine with that. I think that when people talk about those long-term stories in AEW, that's something that if Chris Jericho is getting ready to be on his way out, he sits there and goes, hey, let me put Hangman over.
Yeah.
And I'm totally fine with that, especially since now you've taken your top 2 baby faces, turned them into heels, or half heel, half baby face William Regal.
He slapped the shit.
Yeah, he slapped the shit out of Wheeler Wuda. Wheeler Wuda. His name might have been Wheeler Yuta beforehand, but after he got slapped, it was Wheeler Wuda.
He slapped the shit. I'm like,
my favorite thing about that slap was, one, Wheeler Yuta went in there and wanted to shake his hand. William Regal sits there, slaps the shit out of him, and then William Regal gave that shit-eating grin of like this, and you know that if they had a mic in his hand, he would have been like, what are you going to do now, sunshine? Like, and he would have called him Sunshine.
Yes.
Because
he told him to go back to Sunshine. Go back to Sunshine. Everybody's Sunshine.
my favorite thing he ever says is when he calls people sunshine.
And bugger off,
Bugger off, and he just uses all those old Blackpool England.
Well, because I'm going back and watching the old. It just finished up the invasion, so it was when he was before he joined the invasion when he was the commissioner and he had Tajiri. And he's like, bugger off, you toe rag, and just all the names he was calling people.
Yeah.
And then they make a man. He comes in his office. Why don't you go out there, ring? I'll get my boots on. It was always not his gear, just his boots.
Yeah,
I get my boots on.
Yeah, he'll do it in a suit, man. Like, dude, that slap.
Oh my god.
Like, I mean, it looked like Yuta was gonna have to have his jaw wired shut. Like, I'm not playing with that.
Yeah, I don't think he pulled that. That was stiff.
Yeah.
All right, and what else happened?
We got more of the.
Oh, you called it with the TNT title. I was like, he's gonna hold it for a week. They managed to cheat my man out of it.
They did, and they did it the right way, and they did it to where Dan Lambert gets to still wear that second belt around his waist.
That cracks me up. You see, it was
and he just sits there and fixes it.
I didn't get all of Rampage because of the game, but I did see when they had the interview. Scorpio's got this one, and damn son, there that one is.
And then on top of that, we got a little bit more in the world of Keith Lee versus Team Tazz.
Yes.
I got a problem with this. I don't have a problem where if Powerhouse Hobbs goes up against Keith Lee, that Keith Lee doesn't have a solid 10-minute match, but Keith Lee still looks more powerful and beats the younger guy, right? I have a problem when Ricky Starks sits there and makes Keith Lee look like a cruiserweight. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, Keith Lee is a 330-pound dude and should be squashing Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
And sure, Ricky Starks can run around him, but as soon as that Bearcat hand gets put on him,
yeah. As soon as he does that moonsault,
it's limitless for how far down he's going to get put through that ring when he catches him. And so far, and this is one of my problems with AEW wrestling, is that they really don't have squash matches. Wardlow's the only one that was having squash matches. And Wardlow was having a lot of squash matches.
This symphony.
You know, but like Keith Lee should be squashing motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about now. I know he's the nicest guy in wrestling, apparently, based on all the memes and tweets that went out this week. There seems to be some tomfoolery going around with my matches, Mr. Regal. You know, like that's what you would expect him to be saying right now. It's so annoying when you see a guy who's 380 pounds not wrestle like he's 380 pounds. And this is something that Vince McMahon had a problem with him. He was like, why are you not squashing Adam Cole? Adam Cole is $180 soaking wet. Like,
well, he didn't write the script, so that's the way it was being written.
So, and trust me, I get when it was in NXT, Adam Cole was pushed to the moon, but Keith Lee beat him.
Yeah.
And Keith Lee took both those titles and then immediately was squashed on Raw. But you know, like the whole idea though is that a guy like him should not be having 30-minute matches with Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Or the Leon, whatever his name was on NXT.
Ruff.
Yeah, Leon Ruff. Like, I knew his name was Leon. I couldn't think of the last name.
Ruff.
But like, all of his matches were like 6-minute matches.
Yes.
You know, and it was he would either sneak it a win and win the North American Championship, or he'd get knocked out and Damian Priest would throw him on top of Johnny Gargano. You know, like if you're gonna have Dominik Dijakovic versus Keith Lee, I get it. You're gonna have a banger. You're gonna have a 30-minute. You're gonna have one where you're wondering whether or not they're gonna use the gimmick ring to have the ring implode. But you can't do that when your entire company is made up of 220-pounder or less guys, and you're the only 380-pounder out there. Now
you want to Miro?
He's injured. But I was getting ready to say, you want to have him sit there and do that against Miro? Great. Except Miro's only 260 pounds.
Probably the only one. What? Archer probably be the only one.
Lance Archer be a good one.
Bear Country.
I mean, if you don't want it to be a squash, sure.
What about that big bearded dude that's with Marshall?
The one that looks like Veer Mahan?
Yeah, the one always wears a white coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I he was the boxer, wasn't he?
No, the other dude was the boxer.
Oh, that's right. The one-eyed guy. But anyway, that's, I've already talked about my other big problem in AEW, which is a finishing move doesn't finish matches.
No, mine was the 50-50 booking.
Well, but they don't really have 50-50 booking, because if you actually look at what the records are in AEW, everybody that's on Dynamite and Rampage has a really good winning record. And then everybody on Dark wonders whether or not they're still under contract.
Yeah.
So, but like like right now, Keith Lee goes up against Hook. I'm sorry, Hook, you're taking your first L.
Yeah.
But no, that's not how it because Keith Lee would get.
I don't know though. We saw Hook in Greensboro take on that Bear Country dude and hold his own.
Hold on, we're talking about former NXT champ Bear Country.
That's true.
And Hook.
That's true.
But see, that's just it. Is that right now, if they were to say, you know what, we're going to give Hook his first real match. And I say real match because Bowling Shirt doesn't count. Okay? Bowling Shirt does not count. QT Marshall for those out there watching. I try to add realism and try to be realistic with it. Yes, there are ways that the smaller guy gets a victory. Leon Ruff, like we just talked about. Shawn Michaels made a career out of it. Brian Danielson made a career out of it. Like Brian Danielson against Brock Lesnar, where I thought Brian Danielson was concussed.
Yes.
At that Survivor Series match, and it turns out he was just playing possum and just letting Brock Lesnar wear himself out. One of the greatest ideas ever. Finn Balor being able to trick Brock Lesnar into shoving his diverticulitis belly into the table corner. Totally get it. At that point, you're vulnerable. You can lose the match. I get it. Keep kicking him in the same spot. Oh, you want to kick him in the head? You're an idiot.
Yeah.
But you keep kicking him in the belly. At some point, big dude's going to go down.
Yeah.
You're going to chop that tree down. But I'm telling you, I can't stand when guys like Keith Lee sit there and have a 30-minute match against somebody there's no reason they should ever have a 30-minute match against. Especially when no one else comes down to help those guys actually, win. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, only other thing that I really want to talk about from Dynamite was Thunder Rosa. I called that too, and I just don't understand why she didn't win the match at the pay-per-view. Like, why did they hold it off 2 more weeks? And you can tell me it was in her hometown.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to do it. It was exactly 1 year to the last time they actually fought and she won. I get all that, but you can't tell me that it didn't take a little bit away from the title, knowing that they were willing to sit there and take the women's championship and have it change hands, not on a major pay-per-view.
But that was a pay-per-view. It was kind of like how they used to do Clash of the Champions.
It was 2 weeks after their second biggest pay-per-view of the year.
But too, I think they wanted to hype it up. She didn't lose cleanly or fairly because there was outside interference. I guess, you know what I'm saying? This time she won it. They were in a cage. She won it cleanly and fairly in her hometown. Exactly a year.
And you know who I feel the worst for in that whole match? Aubrey. Because when she counted 1, 2, 3,
those tacks,
her hand went into those thumbtacks all 3 times. Like here's Britt sitting there getting them just and she posted all people saying, oh, we're using gimmick thumbtacks. By the way, gimmick thumbtacks would have been worse, because if they didn't have that point on them and they still went into your arm, that's gonna hurt 5 times more, folks. Sorry, it's true.
Imagine when you're walking through your house and you step on a thumbtack. How much that hurts. Get slammed in a thumbtack.
Yeah.
Get your.
But hold on. Let's okay. Realistically, the pain receptors in your feet
Hurt.
are like 10 times worse than your back.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're talking about people that get slammed on their back.
So probably calluses.
Calloused, just I mean, weren't the muscles like I'm not gonna say atrophied or anything like that, but it's at that point it's probably burning numb. Anyway, so it's numb. Okay. And I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. They obviously, like, when they first hit it, they get that shock and
like cold water.
Not even cold water. It's like when you take like a popsicle and touch it to your back and you think you're getting burned. You know what I mean?
So what about
your hands?
hand? Do you think because she's callous, not callous, but
no,
slapping the mat? You think
I'm gonna say this hurts almost as much as the feet. Although I can tell you, like the reason why people get foot massages and have all those weird things, like for all the different types of therapies and stuff that use just their feet, is because your feet have so many more pain receptors in them,
probably more nerves and
right. Yeah. So unless it was Miro not wearing shoes or Riddle not wearing shoes and having a thumbtack match, like nobody feels it like that. And their boots are thick. They're not super thick, but they're thick enough to where I can almost guarantee those aren't going into their feet.
But I was saying the pain in that.
But I mean, she's slapping her hand like as hard as possible, and I mean, you're watching.
I thought the same thing.
She slid into place.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, she's fucking crazy.
You got taking a titty.
You popped me. You got me.
Taking the titty.
But once again, bad storytelling.
Nah.
Reared its ugly's head because Britt ended up hitting a move outside the ring. Thunder Rosa got up, like no sold, hit her with her finisher, no sold, put her out on the tacks, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like you gotta stop no selling finishers.
Which finish she finished? Was it the mandible claw finisher she does? The lockjaw?
No, she wasn't able to get the lockjaw on.
Yeah, that's because she bit her.
Because she bit her, and then I think she actually started putting thumbtacks in her hand.
No, she was slamming her hand.
Oh yeah, she was slamming the hand, so she was putting thumbtacks in her hand. Otherwise, I mean, it's the right time. Thunder Rosa is the right person. It allows Britt now to sit there and
take a break.
I hope they don't put her in a rematch.
They're not. They're going to probably put her more with.
I don't think they'll put her with Adam Cole. Not unless they actually start putting. I mean, they have to put Adam Page with somebody.
Either that, or they might at some point turn heel or everyone turn face because Scorpio Sky's got that.
Paige Van Zandt?
Yeah.
No, I like where you're going with that. I think that if they do something like that, it'd probably be Sammy and Tay Conti.
Which is probably what they're setting up now. But see, I don't think Tay, we talked about it. I don't think Tay, Britt, I can see taking Paige more than I can see.
Conti. Oh, yeah. Like overall, you got to think that if you're going to have a Shayna Basler-esque MMA fighter learning how to wrestle and want to use her correctly, because Paige Van Zandt is a amazingly hot badass.
Yes.
Okay. Whereas Shayna Baszler is just a badass. Yeah. She ain't hot. But Van Zandt is, like WWE wanted her. She didn't go there. She had conversations, she had talks, whatever, but she wanted to go to AEW. Now, she'll get her first victory over Tay Conti. That's fine. And Tay's a good one to go against because she's got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background and everything else. So they're probably already working with each other backstage.
To put her against that bitch.
Jade Cargill? Maybe at some point. But you have to think if they do that, then which one of them is going to be the babyface? And I know that AEW doesn't care as much about babyface heel as like WWE seems to.
I think Jay will turn without turning. You know, kind of like The Rock. You know what I mean? The fans will just start.
I don't know, man. I don't think. No. So Britt Baker, I see that totally.
Okay.
And they already have.
Yes.
Like DMD. You know, like they definitely have there. But I don't see them doing it with Jade Cargill.
Really?
Because she's actually a bitch.
So who's going to beat her? We ain't gonna set anybody up.
I mean, at some point, I think her manager is going to end up like taking such a beating from her that he's gonna get over as a babyface going against her. Not
TNT
really.
Champion.
Yeah. Oh God. He'll be TBS champion.
Yeah.
I still find it funny that the TNT championship seems to get wrestled on TBS more often, and the TBS championship seems to get wrestled on TNT more often. But you know that's neither here nor there. They could just call them secondary belts. So
that's it, really.
Yeah, that's it with that one. Let's not beat the dead horse. Why does it say SmackDown and MSG?
No, you probably didn't change it.
Yeah, I didn't change it. Well, we'll just talk about SmackDown.
Okay.
So SmackDown,
dude. You see the moment when Reigns was getting in the back of the SUV and he mouthed it. It was on TV, and he saw the forklift coming,
and he said, "Oh fuck."
Yes.
What? And you know what was funny about it was he was like, "Oh fuck, get in the car," and they still couldn't get the car moving fast enough. What about Brock Lesnar with that like Ford F-250 sitting there just ripping the door off and taking it down to the ring with him?
He put it down to do his little explosion and then picked it up and walked to the
ring with it. It was like, dude had a door in his hand.
Oh, Jesus.
It was great.
Brock is entertaining as fuck this time around. Did they let him be himself?
I don't
know.
Do
you think he's just having fun this
time? I don't know how much money they're paying him right now, but I think right now, like, we've seen him every week since day one, it feels like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's been 1 or 2 weeks where he hasn't been there, but that's it. I think that he's having so much fun that right now, like, they're sitting there going, "You want to show up next week?" "Yeah, I'll show up next week." Like, and Brock Lesnar's never done that. Like, never. He's never been that guy, folks. He's never been the guy that when they go, "Hey, Brock, we want to fly you into..." No. That's a stupid idea. I'm going to throw the belt.
I think he's having fun.
Oh, he's having a blast, dude.
Yeah.
And
this is the best Brock we've seen.
It really is. I mean, I liked Brock in the Bank.
Bro, yeah.
You know, when I sat there, I said, "Here he is rocking out to it. Next week it'll have speakers." Dude. And then they put fucking speakers in it.
Him and Sammy
were
priceless.
We'll go up to Saskatchewan. We'll go deer hunting.
You're gonna challenge. You're gonna challenge tonight. I'm tonight.
All right.
And then he was backstage talking shit. And then I got Brock Lesnar wanting me to. I'm coming
tonight.
Or even Austin Theory when he put his coat on when he's a coat rack.
Put the hat on and he's like. Apparently, you know, we didn't know who he actually fought at Madison Square Garden. It was Austin Theory.
Oh, is that who he was saying?
He fought Austin Theory.
So yeah, but this time around, I'm digging Brock. But yeah, I popped for that because the look on his face, and you saw. He said, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, Roman was like, "Oh fuck, get in the car." Like, dude, there's so much good stuff going on SmackDown.
Yes.
Sammy versus Johnny Knoxville is a lot funnier than it has any right to be. The fact that he literally gave out Sami Zayn's phone number. And Sami Zayn answered someone's FaceTime message request while he was in the bathtub.
No, oh my god!
And they posted it on the internet. It was like, "I can't believe Sami Zayn actually answered," and it's a picture of Sami Zayn, like a screen capture, and he's in a bathtub, and he's just got this like stare on his face, like, "Would you stop calling me?" It's funny as fuck.
Oh.
The only, if I could take anything out of SmackDown and not have it be part of the show, I hate to say it, it's Ronda and Charlotte. And they keep ending the show with it.
Yeah.
And it's if I could take anything away from that show and not have it be part of it. Now, I will admit, the one thing that it has been able to do is get Ronda over as a babyface. And I didn't think they were going to be able to do that either. But they have really made her a sympathetic figure, which I didn't think was possible. And, obviously she's going to get the win at WrestleMania. I don't care. Like, all these people oh, Ronda might not even be around after it. Who the fuck cares? She's going to win.
Yeah.
However, don't know if you heard this. Originally, I said that was going to close out night one.
It's night.
No. It's still the night one main event match. But apparently it's no longer going to close out the night.
Stone Cold. Yeah.
So I didn't watch.
Queen Sharmell is being inducted too, and Booker T's inducting her.
So
because they're in Texas.
So I have a problem with that.
I knew you would.
Why do you think?
Because she's not a wrestler.
She wasn't even really a manager.
She's a manager, and she was
for like a cup of coffee.
She was a manager, but she was also a manager in WCW too. If you remember,
not long.
For what was that dude? The artist, whatever he was.
Kiwi?
No, the artist, formerly known as. Remember, he was Prince, whatever.
Prince Iakea?
Yeah, then he became the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea. I remember he was doing that Prince gimmick.
No.
You remember?
No, I don't.
He was wearing purple all the time. They had the symbol like Prince.
I thought you meant the Kiwi.
No.
Did she manage the Kiwi?
I don't think so. But anyway.
But I do have a problem with it because I really don't think that, when you think of all the people that could be in the Hall of Fame before Sharmell, the fact that Sharmell's going into the Hall of Fame as a manager she was queen to King Booker. Okay, I get it. Booker. King Booker. But that was literally a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That's almost a forgettable moment in Booker T's career. Especially when you think of all the other things that he accomplished before he became King Booker.
I know.
There are just so many other people that could be in the Hall of Fame before her.
Yes, I agree.
Kelly could be in the Hall of Fame before her.
I think they're reaching.
Victoria.
That was him as the artist.
Show them. Hold it up. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Thank God.
He's supposed to be like Prince.
All right. So I'm not a big fan of
anyway.
Not a big fan of Sharmell going into the Hall of Fame, especially in the year that The Undertaker's going into the Hall of Fame.
They don't really. Who else did they? Vader. Okay.
And they're rumoring Sid, and they were rumoring the Steiner brothers, but apparently Scott Steiner has said he does not want to go in.
What the hell? He's probably busy at the Denny's that he owns. What was it? What does he own?
Speaking of former tag team partners of Scott Steiner, I saw Buff Bagwell in a photo this week, and he has one of those lifter chairs that goes up his.
Oh no! Oh, yeah, he's doing bad.
He's not doing good. I'll tell you that. So yeah, not a fan of the Sharmell thing. I'll leave it at that. I've already said it like 7 times.
We do NXT. We didn't do NXT.
We did not do NXT.
Well, is there anything on NXT you want to talk about?
Dolph Ziggler winning the World Championship.
Was that last? Did we not talk about? No, because that's right. Because we didn't see it.
Yeah, we were filming the show.
All right.
And when we said there's no way that Dolph Ziggler wins the championship, and we were wrong.
Yeah.
And then he showed up with the belt on Monday Night Raw last night. Yes. So good for him. And what did I say about it? Like we're sitting there after the thing, and everybody's like, I can't believe they gave Dolph Ziggler the NXT championship. It's like, well, he wasn't booked for WrestleMania. So
and now he is, because he's fighting Braun.
Well, he's fighting Braun at Stand and Deliver, which is
weekend.
noon on Saturday. So it still gives Dolph plenty of time to be in whatever type of battle royal they put on for the pre-show or whatever. I was impressed. I didn't think that they would. I did not think that they would pull something like that.
Pull the trigger.
It now has everybody thinking that Braun Breaker is going to immediately be brought up to Monday Night Raw.
Well, so you don't think he'll win it back in the next?
I don't know. That's what makes it so interesting. Is I don't know, and I'm okay if he doesn't, because if they want to move him right up, you don't want him to do the
But then they got to find somebody to, which is probably LA Knight, because he kind of stepped up to him last week.
I could see LA Knight being the next guy for that, but I could also see LA Knight showing up the Friday after Mania on SmackDown. I
just don't want.
He's that good to where.
Yeah, but that's my biggest thing. That's my fear. They're rock solid on NXT, and then they bring them up to the main roster, and then they just
remember,
screw them.
Now that it's NXT 2.0, these are supposed to be the characters that they will portray on the main roster. So they're already supposed to be established characters. They're already supposed to know what their gimmick is. They're already supposed to know what their plan is. So when they go up to the main roster, when LA Knight sits there and they're like, "Hey, we lost Cesaro. You got the look. You got the mic skills. We want to put you into that spot now where you're going to be mid card, go up against a guy like Sheamus every week."
Yeah, but that's another thing I hate for them. And you're right. I think LA Knight can be more than mid card. I think Braun Breaker can be more than mid card.
Well, hold on. You don't sit there.
I'm not saying throw him immediately, but I don't want him to be a mid card forever.
Well, yeah, no. Yeah. But they have to get over, right? So
I see what you're saying. Yes,
start him in a good mid card feud.
Yes, but I don't want him to stay stagnant.
But let's be real, okay? That's up to them.
Yes.
We can all sit there and say that Cesaro deserved to be a 5-time world champion. But I had this conversation with our buddy CJ, who from time to time sits there and talks pro wrestling with me, and he flat out sat there and said he should have been like a 5-time mid-card champion, maybe a 1-time world champion. But if you actually look at Cesaro's record, I think he held the Intercontinental Championship once.
Yeah, but how's that his fault?
Because he never. Okay, so. You got to rattle the cage from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be seen. You gotta be heard. You gotta get your voice across.
Okay.
Look at Kevin Owens.
Oh God, yeah.
Kevin Owens. We sit there. We've talked about how he doesn't. He doesn't win the big one. He doesn't win the championship, but he constantly is in big spots. Right? Doesn't need the championship now, and he's in Vince's ear. And when the contract negotiations came up, he spoke to Vince and got the deal that he wanted, right? Now he's got the biggest moment of his career. I don't care if a championship's involved or not. You're WrestleMania. You're with Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know you're going to eat that stunner.
Yes.
So you better do that full backflip.
Yes.
You better not be that guy on Monday night that sat there and just fell flat.
Or Vince.
Or
the first stunner.
It's okay. It's still Vince.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be Seth Rollins where you take the stunner, fall right down, get pinned 1, 2, 3 immediately. Like you want to sit there like when you ask Stone Cold who took the best stunner, he says The Rock, and then he says Scott Hall. Because when Scott Hall took that first one, he bounced straight up in the air and then did the backflip. Like he oversold that thing like Shawn Michaels against Hulk Hogan in SummerSlam. Okay? And so, but Cesaro, "Hey, Cesaro, I got this idea. I want to put you in a tag team with Sheamus." But Vince, we were just going against each other last week. "Yeah, that's why no one will see it coming." Well, all right, Vince, if that's what you want me to do, that's what I'll do. That's Cesaro. And I bet that's the way he was the whole time. So last year when that contract came up right around Mania time, and he was like, "Well, boss, I think I need a title shot. Like, you want me to stay for another year? You want me to sign a contract? I think I deserve a title shot."
Shot, not title run. The wording was fucked up.
He wasn't going to get a title run unless he was going to show up on Raw. But, that's the whole point, is that, he negotiated. We all think he negotiated for that title shot, but he got a title shot, and he put on a hell of a match. You know, we all know that he can put on a hell of a match. Thing is that, like, as much as we want to say that he was over with the crowd, Cesaro section, everything else, it's the same thing as Rusev Day.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. And like, there are obviously spots where like, if they had left him with Paul Heyman, he probably could have been bigger than he was. But
Let Paul Heyman be his mouthpiece,
which he was for like 5 weeks.
Yes.
And then immediately disappeared because Brock Lesnar came back, and Cesaro was left in the wind. You know, so anyway, so guys like LA Knight, they have the charisma. They've got they've got that thing, that panache that you want them to have to sit there and do that. I don't know if Braun Breaker does. However, I do like the idea of Braun Breaker and Gable Steveson coming up around the same time. Because I don't know if
Stevenson was the beast that he is with all those tats. I saw him with a picture they were showing where he's like in the
where it's like
it's like this,
where it's like humble giant or something like that.
He's got all the tats. I'm like, that dude is jacked.
Did you watch any of his
No.
NCAA tournament matches? Dude, he's 280 pounds and was throwing people around. And when I say throwing people, now his final 2 matches went to decision, and he easily, you know, like the finals was like 5-2. So I mean, he easily won the match. 6 minutes, it was over. He left his boots in the ring.
Yeah.
You know, during the match, because he went to Minnesota, they're sitting there talking about Shelton Benjamin. They're talking about Brock Lesnar. They're talking about all these guys, and they're like, you know, this school's becoming a school for giants, and this and all this other stuff. And it's like, man, they should actually hire that guy to do commentary for WWE, because that guy knows wrestling. But like, Stevenson's already said he'll be at WrestleMania. He'll probably be in the crowd. But he can show up the night after Mania.
Like, is he done with the school? I thought he had to finish school and finish the thing.
I mean, they might be on break, you know, but it's he's gonna graduate, something Brock Lesnar never did. He's a 3-time NCAA champion and an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, he's now accomplished even more.
He's Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle.
And he is Brock Lesnar sized and Kurt Angle skilled. And then the only thing I worry about is whether or not he can take that microphone and scare you.
Or just let him be silent, maybe, like you said, let Angle be his mouthpiece.
Well, I would love it if they brought Angle in to be his mouthpiece, but I think that could also take away from him. Now, you put Chad Gable as his mouthpiece, and you've got the biggest heel since Brock Lesnar.
Shush. I don't think they should.
Did you watch the TikTok of him sitting there saying he was listening to the 10 hours of shush?
The only reason I don't think they need to put him with Chad Gable is because right now, as much as you don't, a lot of people don't
Chad Gable will be his first feud.
They're him and Otis are a comedy act.
Right, but
Chad Gable
will be his first feud because he will go up against him, and Chad will be like, I'm also an Olympic athlete. I have a master's degree, and
but that's what I'm saying. But you said you want him. You think they should put him as the mouthpiece? But
they won't. I don't see them doing what they did with Kurt Angle, which was make him a heel day one. I don't see them doing that.
Wasn't Otis also in the Olympics? I think him and Gable were in the Olympics together.
I don't know.
So Otis and Stevenson might be a good match too.
Well, but if you make his first feud against Chad Gable, then Otis is going to be involved.
Yeah.
You know, and I could totally see him getting through Chad, and then Otis being like, "Oh yeah, beefy," you know, and have to take him on, you know, like whatever he actually says.
Takes and waits.
Takes and waits. So, all right. Mandy Rose hasn't wrestled in a while. Cora Jade now is the number 1 contender.
Yeah. Now
she's hot. She's hot.
I like her hanging the belts in a spotlight, and they're like.
So Chris Barrett actually said something pretty funny here. He said Otis, Gable, and Steve said like Edge, Christian, and Angle, and
Team X.
And that guy who wore that chicken suit was Kurt Angle.
Oh God!
Really? Really?
We're at Raw now.
Well,
like I said, I didn't get to finish watching Rampage.
We got this. We got this because
that's wrong.
Because Monday Night Raw,
dude,
opened up with the Glass Shatter, and that crowd went ballistic. And when he started walking down to the ring with the ball cap on,
faces,
but it always takes a minute for them to realize they're being duped.
And it had knee braces, and then the one that kept
the one that undid itself. But he got in the ring. He sat there, threw the arms up like Steve Austin used to. He sat there, and I mean, he started it with one of Steve Austin's lines. Oh yeah, it was. If you want to see Kevin Owens beat Stone Cold's ass at WrestleMania, give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah. And the crowd was like, boo. And then it's like, we want Austin. We want, and he was like, what? What?
The best part of that was when dude was trying to throw him beers and he couldn't catch him.
Dude, I couldn't tell if that was on purpose or not, but I think it was on purpose because the way that one beer landed in the corner, they just left it there and they kept putting the camera on it because that was Stone Cold's new beer.
Yeah.
That was the one that came out last week on 3/16 Day. That was the El Segundo Broken Skull Lager. But and I thought it was funny that was the beer they're throwing to him. And then, of course, Owens sits there, takes the 2 beers, cracks them, slaps them together, and pours them on the camera guy.
And he just drinking
and he goes to drink it, and he's just like, and then he throws it as hard as he can. And you know that landed in the audience.
I know. That's why I was like looking. I'm like, oh shit, he
lost that. But the best part about that was after he did all that, he turned back around and did the whole like jumping up and down, on top of the dude sitting there, But
no. When that glass broke again, he's ready to fight. He's like, I can't believe I got you again.
He's like, you guys are so stupid. Oh man, now
that was gold.
So,
that was gold.
And
that was gold.
I said last week, Kevin Owens doesn't need a championship. Kevin Owens is as over as he'll ever be. Kevin Owens is at the top of his game right now, and he is having fun, which is all he cared about on top of his $3 million a year. Does Stone Cold show up next week
to close out? I don't think he shows up. I think he'll come via satellite.
I hope that they at least have him show up on camera of some sort.
Yeah.
It can be live via satellite. It can be, any number of ways. I kind of felt like I just got a text message, but I don't see any text messages. But to only have him do that 30-second spot to lead up to this really feels like a massive, like I would have been okay if they filmed a couple more vignettes or whatever all at once, told Owens what he was going to say. That way Owens could match him with his, but right now, and this is one of those amazing things about a guy like Kevin Owens, Tino, is that Kevin Owens is selling this entire spot at WrestleMania by himself. I mean, and he's even like, and then we're sitting there watching Stone Cold put that thing together, and that 30 seconds that he was actually talking in the middle of nowhere. The thing that pissed me off about the whole segment, though, was that the thing started breaking right in the middle of the forehead, and I'm like, couldn't they glue that down better?
Yeah.
Then I saw a tweet today that said, I'm going to tell my kids this was Austin and The Rock, and it was The Miz dressed up as The Rock, and it was dressed up as Stone Cold. And then I replied, is that the same bald cap?
Wow.
Got more of Arcade Bro and they're two sets of teams that they'll be facing at WrestleMania. What do you think of Natalya and Shayna Basler as a tag team?
If they do it right, I think it's a great tag team.
You hit the one word there that really is going to determine everything, which is if.
Yeah.
Because
right now I'm leaning more towards. At first, I thought it was going to be the Glow and Sasha, but I'm more thinking about. I think it's going to be Liv. I think it's going to be Liv and
Chris Barrett's living in 1997, and I don't even think he was alive back then.
Wow. I really think it's going to be Rhea and Liv.
Joe, sorry, we talked you out of the show. See you next time, my friend. Always a pleasure having you be part of it. The fans are so gullible at times when it comes to like I can tell you right now, Tino and I were talking about whether or not we should whether or not we should actually go to just hit it again. There you go. Whether or not we should just go to SmackDown last week in Charlotte, and we didn't. But like on the road to WrestleMania or the night after Mania are the shows you want to be there for. You know, like I went to the very first NXT show after WrestleMania that one year because I knew that's when everybody was getting called up. So that was their curtain calls. That was them being able to sit there and say goodbye to NXT because it was the last time they were going to be on the road with them. And the last time we went, EC3 came out.
Yeah.
And you remember how many finishing moves Adam Cole took that night?
Yep.
You know, so like
everybody's.
Yeah, and that was like Keith Lee on that show. That was
Rhea was on that show.
Aleister Black was on that show.
What's her name? She's just had a baby. She's out right now. The Southern.
Oh yeah, Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans was on that show.
Who I don't think is coming back.
No.
I mean, everyone else who's had a baby has been back already.
Yeah.
So, now they're saying Bianca's out with an injury.
I think that's show.
So okay. So, completely different topic. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins last week wants to steal Kevin Owens' spotlight. This week, he wants to steal AJ Styles' spotlight.
Then that fucker snapped.
Who?
Oh, you didn't see the end where
I did not.
He snapped. He tore that ring.
Oh, right, because he said I'm going to get my WrestleMania moment.
Yeah, he tore the ringside area apart.
So,
and for the past 2 weeks, the crowd's been chanting Cody.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: if they don't give him Cody, who do you give him? Because right now he's healing out, like hardcore, right? So, and this is something that CJ and I were talking about as well. Because I said no. Because I said you can't. Like what if they couldn't deliver on Stone Cold? What would be the only guy in Texas that you could have go up against Kevin Owens that would make people okay with it?
Taker.
Would have been Taker. So I'm almost thinking that Seth Rollins and dude, a couple of years ago, Seth Rollins showed up at NXT, ended up beating up Triple H, getting his match at WrestleMania against Triple H. Actually, very first episode of the Potsy and Tino show, we called that moment. We were the only place that actually mentioned that. I could almost see, and I don't like this idea, Seth Rollins going after The Undertaker at the Hall of Fame.
As the Undertaker ring ready because remember you said they don't want, once he's inducted, they don't want Hall of Famers wrestling anymore.
So I think they'd make an exception for The Undertaker because
they're in Texas.
they're in Texas. The Undertaker retired without any fans in attendance.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that The Undertaker's going to be in ring shape or anything like that, but I could totally see Seth Rollins carrying him to 10 minutes of Seth Rollins getting his ass beat at WrestleMania.
But do you think The Undertaker, because you know how they don't want to go out, like they don't want to go, you know what I'm saying? They don't want people remembering them like that. I would think he wanted to at least put on a decent, like the one with AJ Styles. That would be the perfect one to go out on.
Well, then you got to do cinematic, and I don't think they want to do.
No, I'm saying that match. I'm not saying like that. I'm saying that match.
I mean, but that was cinematic. The whole match was cinematic.
No, what I'm saying,
I would say
he like using his shape.
I would say that the way that, and the Undertaker's in great shape right now. Like the guy's doing CrossFit. I would say that what you get out of him at that point is he chases Seth around a little while. You might have Kane come down to the ring and actually prevent Seth from getting away. Seth backs back up, you know, because Kane and Seth have history.
Yeah, with the Authority.
But Seth got hurt because of a match against Kane.
Oh.
Remember when he blew out his leg, which caused the match against Triple H and all that, right? So I could totally see Kane coming down, and then all of a sudden, like Seth backtracking back into the ring. The Undertaker's like choke slam, tombstone. Doesn't even have to be a match, just like the Stone Cold thing.
Yeah.
So you don't need a 1, 2, 3 or anything like that. But we've all said that we're completely okay if the Undertaker comes back, choke slams somebody.
Yes.
We're all okay if he sits there and he tombstones somebody.
Yes.
You know, so like any of those things could happen.
I hope he hits him with all. If he does that, I hope he hits him with a choke slam, last ride, tombstone, hit him with all the different.
And then the choke hold thing that he does the
triangle choke.
Yeah, or whatever they used to call it when he would do it. The Hell's Gate.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
You know, and with Seth, there is one other person that they could bring back, but because of the Saudi Arabia thing, a lot of people think that it lost some luster, and that's HBK. Yeah. So you could have either of those two guys come down to the ring and you know, like stand and deliver. Let's say Shawn Michaels is in the ring, and he's like, I know that Hunter always liked to do this, but Hunter's not here, so we are NXT, you know, like, and then have Seth do it again.
Okay.
Take out Shawn Michaels. That would sit there and get him a moment in Texas, right? So I could see any of those things, especially if they're holding Cody off till the night after Mania. Because right now they're building anticipation for Cody because everyone's saying he signed, but I haven't seen any documents. Now I believe he signed.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get that many places saying that Cody Rhodes signed a contract to find out Cody Rhodes didn't sign a contract. But I right now I'm still thinking that they could pull the wool on this one. And I'd be okay with it if it was The Undertaker. I'd be okay with it if it was Shawn Michaels sitting there giving him a sweet chin music. That just knocked him right, you know, like have him like and then knocked out.
That damn laugh.
I don't understand the character. He's not the Joker. I don't get the character, and people are like, I think it's the best he's ever been. And I'm like,
do you remember when you were a kid and you used to get those visors, but they had the clear plastic with the different colors? You know what I'm talking about? They're like the visors that you put on, like they were hats, but
like the tennis visors.
Yeah, but they had the clear plastic. Why did Becky have that on her face?
No. That was her virtual reality headset.
Oh, okay.
She had her Google goggles on.
Google goggles.
Her Google goggles.
Google Gaga.
She has her Google Gagas on.
Google Gaga.
Dude, I don't even want to get started on how dumb that shit looked.
Yeah.
But I literally was thinking, you know, like I got my PlayStation VR headset over there. You know, that's what that shit looked like. It looked like she just had her eyes dilated and she's not allowed to drive home, you know?
Yes.
Because I mean, those shits came out like this and then went down.
Yeah.
And it was one piece of plastic.
That's like a welder. She's going out to weld some shit after that promo. I broke this chair.
She's that person that didn't want to wear the mask here, so she brought the face guard.
Wow.
And
then the only other thing I want to touch base on is the Edge and AJ thing.
Yes.
So Edge wanted to make sure that he had that match with AJ.
You know what pissed me off about that? Edge is the heel. So why wouldn't he make it so AJ doesn't have the match now?
They already booked the match.
Obviously. But okay. Everybody's sitting there like complaining that Cody didn't come out last week to cause Owens to still have his match or his thing at Mania against Stone Cold. This week everybody got mad that Cody didn't come out and cause Seth to lose that so that they're setting something up at Mania. And the whole time I'm sitting there going,
you don't need to.
Vince McMahon has been known to change plans walking into WrestleMania multiple times throughout the years, including the year when Road Dogg was hardcore champion, Billy Gunn is Intercontinental champion, and then a week before Mania, they switched those belts. And I still don't know how. I still don't remember how they did it. But both of them lost their belts and won the other person's belt like that night or whatever, and went into Mania in completely different matches than what everybody was expecting them to.
Yep.
So what makes anybody think that they couldn't do the same thing here? Or they couldn't do something where it's like AJ would lose that match to Seth. AJ would sit there and go ballistic. And it would all be because Edge came down and concertoed Seth Rollins.
Yes.
So Seth still can't do the match at WrestleMania. So Adam Pearce sits there and he goes, well, AJ, you weren't able to get the job done last week. We know that there was interference. So this week, if you beat Omos, you get that match back at WrestleMania. And then, of course, like Seth Rollins gets pissed off or whatever, and he ends up going ballistic on Omos or whatever, and AJ wins that match because of, some dumb shit like that. But what makes anybody think that they couldn't have sat there at any point and just been like, hey, we know that Stone Cold already cut that promo on Kevin Owens, but what if all of a sudden Seth Rollins wins? Next week, Stone Cold on Twitter for 30 seconds sits there and goes, so Seth, I see what you did. You dumb son of a bitch. Now you're going to be the one that catches a stunner.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Owens gets his match thingy, whatever it is, his moment in the sun back, and then Kevin Owens or Stone Cold would be like, would you dumb sons of bitches figure out who the hell's going to get an ass whooping from Stone? I don't even care. Bring you both down. I'll whip both your sorry asses. And that's the bottom line. And I'd be okay with that. Like if you can't sell me Cody at this point, if you can't sell me that the Undertaker's going to take, going to give a tombstone, have Stone Cold take them both on.
There you go.
I don't care, because then you could actually have the match, have Seth and Kevin sit there and go 30 minutes in the match where Austin's sitting there like doing whatever he does. Maybe they beat him up backstage so he can't be out. And then right at the end of the match, he comes down, he stomps a mud hole in the one. He sits there, gives the one a stunner. They fall out of the ring. He sits there and, does something to one of the other ones, hits him with a stunner, hits him with another stunner. 1, 2, 3. You actually had your match. You get everybody home happy because you had two of the best workers actually work a full match.
Yeah.
Why not? But no, they're not doing that. Anyways, that's all I got. That's all you got?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Let me go ahead and pull up some go home music.
Go home.
Let me pull up some go home music.
Go home.
Start telling everybody how to get.
You did that at the beginning, but I will remind everybody.
We should tell everybody both times.
I will remind them. This is my Matthew say. Mind.
Listening to Potsy and Tino on the.
That was Cody Rhodes.
All right, folks. You can check. Thank you for listening or listening. Thank you for coming and checking us out, folks, like you do each and every Tuesday. You can check this fool out on the Twitter. He is Rob Potcheck.
That would sell the place out.
He is Rob Potcheck. I am where are we on? Hootie? No, what are we on? Twitter? Yeah, he threw me off. I'm Hootie Fan 91 on Insta. I'm SC Tino. He is Rob Potcheck. On the TikTok, he is Rob Potsy Potcheck. You can check us out on the Twitter at Potsy and Tino, Facebook with the Potsy and Tino Show.
The Foxy.
I said Potsy and Tino Show. I was hiccuping at the same time. We're here each and every week right here on this YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat for our theme song, the wrestling song. You can get that on iTunes for 99 cents. 99. And until next week, the Macho Man is saying.
Everybody wants to be the ace of life. But I am the man of the hour, the tower of power. Too sweet to be sour. Make it sweet. That's the Derek Power. There have been many imitations, but only one. Nature born. I am the greatest thing going today. Whether you like it or not, you better learn to love it. Because whether you like it or not,
Bye. Yeah.